The sound of twisting metal shattered the peaceful morning as a bright red Ferrari slammed into a rusty old pickup truck waiting at a quiet country intersection. Shocked drivers rushed toward the wreck while the young billionaire heiress stepped out of her luxury car, convinced she had just destroyed nothing more than an old truck belonging to an ordinary working man. As she apologized, the truck's weathered glove compartment burst open, sending an old wooden box onto the pavement. Hidden inside that forgotten box was a sealed letter addressed in her late mother's unmistakable handwriting, a letter she had spent 15 years believing was lost forever. Before this unforgettable story begins, if you believe kindness, forgiveness, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes people should never be judged by appearances, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps us continue creating emotional stories that inspire hope and remind the world that sometimes fate arrives through the most unexpected moments. Graham Sullivan had lived quietly ever since losing his wife 7 years earlier. Every morning before sunrise, he prepared breakfast for his 10-year-old son, Oliver, packed his lunch, and drove him to school in the same faded blue pickup truck that had carried their family through countless memories. The truck's peeling paint and dented doors never embarrassed Graham because every scratch reminded him of promises kept, family road trips, and the difficult years they had survived together. After dropping Oliver at school, Graham spent long days restoring antique furniture inside a modest woodworking shop on the edge of town. Unlike many people who chased wealth, Graham valued peace above possessions. Years earlier, while restoring an abandoned farmhouse, he had discovered a small cedar box hidden beneath loose floorboards. Inside rested several family photographs, an old silver locket, and one unopened envelope bearing a woman's elegant handwriting. The envelope was addressed simply to, "My dearest Amelia, open only when hope finds you again." Graham had spent years trying unsuccessfully to locate the rightful owner. Every search reached another dead end, so he carefully protected the box inside the glove compartment of his truck, believing that someday life would place it into the correct hands. That bright spring morning, Amelia Hawthorne hurried through town toward an important charity board meeting. As the only daughter of billionaire philanthropist Richard Hawthorne, she had inherited one of the country's largest charitable foundations after both her parents passed away. Her father had died recently, while her beloved mother, Eleanor, had been lost to illness when Amelia was only 16. Since then, Amelia had treasured every photograph and every handwritten note she still possessed, yet one mystery had haunted her for years. Shortly before Eleanor died, she had written a final letter that mysteriously disappeared before Amelia ever had the chance to read it. As Amelia approached the quiet intersection beneath clear blue skies, a delivery van unexpectedly swerved into her lane. Instinctively avoiding the collision, she lost control for a split second, sending her Ferrari directly into Graham's old pickup truck. Thankfully, neither driver suffered serious injuries, but the impact forced the glove compartment open. The cedar box tumbled onto the road, its lid springing apart before either of them could react. Photographs scattered across the pavement as Amelia instinctively helped gather them. Then her eyes froze on the unopened envelope. She recognized the graceful handwriting instantly. Every birthday card her mother had ever written carried those same elegant strokes. Her hands began trembling as she carefully lifted the envelope, unable to believe what she was seeing. Graham quietly watched her expression change from confusion to disbelief before gently explaining how he had discovered the box years earlier and spent countless hours searching for its rightful owner without success. Unable to speak, Amelia carefully held the sealed letter against her heart while tears filled her eyes. For 15 years she had believed her mother's final words were lost forever. Yet through an accident involving an old pickup truck and a stranger she had never met, the impossible had suddenly become reality. Neither of them realized that opening the envelope would reveal not only a mother's final message but also a family secret capable of changing both of their lives forever. The warm afternoon sun shone across the quiet roadside as Amelia Hawthorne carefully held the unopened envelope with trembling hands. For several moments, she simply stared at her mother's familiar handwriting, unable to believe that the letter she had mourned for 15 years had somehow survived inside the glove compartment of a stranger's old pickup truck. Graham Sullivan gently encouraged her to open it when she felt ready, reminding her that some moments deserve patience rather than haste. Sitting together beneath the shade of a large oak tree while emergency crews cleared the accident, Amelia slowly unfolded the yellowed pages. The letter was filled with love, hope, and a mother's final wishes. Eleanor wrote that although illness was taking her away, she wanted Amelia to grow into a woman who measured people by their hearts instead of their wealth or appearance. She explained that life would place extraordinary people in her path, often disguised as ordinary strangers, and warned that kindness would become the greatest inheritance she could ever receive. Toward the end of the letter came a revelation Amelia had never expected. Eleanor described a charitable trust she had secretly established years before to help struggling single-parent families. She asked Amelia to continue that mission one day, believing compassion would always outlive money. Deeply moved, Amelia realized her father had never known about the forgotten trust because the missing letter contained its legal references and instructions. Without it, the documents had remained hidden among abandoned family records. Working together with attorneys over the following weeks, Amelia and Graham located the remaining paperwork exactly where Eleanor had described. The long-forgotten charitable fund was legally restored, immediately providing millions of dollars to expand housing, education, and healthcare assistance for widowed mothers and single fathers raising children alone. Throughout the process, Amelia learned more about Graham's own quiet life. She discovered that after losing his wife, he had devoted every spare moment to raising Oliver with patience, honesty, and unconditional love. Graham had never attempted to sell the cedar box or profit from its contents, even though valuable family heirlooms rested inside. Instead, he protected them for years because he believed someone, somewhere, was still waiting for them. His integrity touched Amelia far more deeply than any business achievement or luxury lifestyle ever could. Grateful beyond words, Amelia insisted on replacing Graham's damaged truck after the accident. Smiling gently, he thanked her but declined. He explained that the truck carried memories of his wife teaching Oliver to fish, family camping trips, and the difficult years they had survived together. Some things, he said, are too precious to replace because their value cannot be measured in dollars. Understanding at last what her mother had meant about seeing beyond appearances, Amelia instead arranged for the truck to be lovingly restored while preserving every meaningful detail that carried its family history. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes kindness can change destinies, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more emotional stories celebrating hope, family, and second chances. Special request. Please comment, kindness always finds its way home. As the golden evening sunlight reflected across Graham's beautifully restored old pickup truck parked outside his workshop, Amelia quietly folded her mother's letter once more and smiled through grateful tears. She finally understood that the greatest gift her mother had left behind was never hidden inside an envelope. It was the reminder that life's most valuable treasures often arrive through unexpected people, ordinary moments, and acts of quiet honesty that change hearts forever. After the unexpected accident at the quiet country intersection, the story of the rusty old pickup truck and the lost letter had quietly transformed countless lives. The charitable trust Eleanor Hawthorne had created years before was finally active again, providing homes, scholarships, counseling, and emergency assistance to thousands of single-parent families across the country. Newspapers called it one of the greatest forgotten acts of generosity ever rediscovered, but Amelia knew the truth. None of it would have happened if one honest father had chosen money over integrity. Graham Sullivan's decision to protect a stranger's memories had restored her mother's final gift to the world. Amelia's life changed in ways she never imagined. She no longer measured success by luxury cars, business achievements, or social status. Instead, she spent more time visiting the families supported by the foundation, listening to their stories and honoring her mother's wish to lead with compassion. At every charity event, she shared the remarkable story of the old truck, explaining that the most valuable thing she had ever received was not an inheritance but a letter that taught her how to see people with her heart instead of her eyes. Graham returned to his quiet woodworking shop, where life continued much as before. Every morning he still prepared breakfast for Oliver, drove him to school in the lovingly restored pickup truck, and spent his afternoons creating beautiful handcrafted furniture. Although Amelia offered him generous financial rewards for safeguarding the cedar box all those years, Graham accepted only enough to expand his workshop and establish a woodworking apprenticeship for teenagers who had lost a parent. He believed the greatest repayment was watching young people discover confidence through honest work and patient craftsmanship. Oliver and Amelia formed a close friendship through the foundation's community projects. Seeing Graham's unwavering devotion to his son reminded Amelia of everything her mother had hoped she would one day recognize. She often smiled whenever the old pickup truck rolled into charity events, because every scratch that remained on its restored body reminded her that true value is carried in memories, not appearances. The Ferrari involved in the accident was eventually repaired, but it never became the symbol of that unforgettable day. The old truck did. On the first anniversary of the accident, the Hawthorne Foundation unveiled a bronze sculpture outside its new Family Hope Center. It depicted a simple weathered pickup truck beside an opened letter, with a plaque beneath it that read, "The greatest treasures are not the ones we keep, but the ones we faithfully return." Visitors from around the country paused to read those words, many wiping away tears as they learned the true story behind the monument. It became a reminder that honesty, compassion, and ordinary acts of goodness can echo across generations in ways no one can ever predict. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes kindness can change a family's future, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more emotional stories filled with hope, love, and second chances. Special request. Please comment. Integrity is the richest inheritance. As the warm evening sun settled over the quiet town, Graham and Oliver drove home together in their old blue pickup truck while Amelia carefully carried her mother's treasured letter inside her purse. One accident had brought 3 lives together, but it was honesty that turned a tragedy into a legacy. In the end, the greatest inheritance Eleanor left her daughter was not written on paper alone. It lived on in every act of kindness inspired by the letter that finally found its way home.